JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 25th of May 2021. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's afternoon session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yeah, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top, guys. So now then, jumping into the charts, the first one I want to pick up here is the German DAX, and we have pushed higher. We have created a new all-time high, but currently we're balancing just fractionally below that previous all-time high near the 15,538 zone. So basically, for now, I would say that let's keep it careful here, because if we stay above this area, above this 15,538 zone, then yes, we could continue aiming higher. But if we don't and we start dropping back somewhere below the 15,502 territory, then well, maybe we could be due for a bit of a corrective move lower. And if you remember this morning, I talked about the idea, for example, on the euro against the Turkish lira, to which I'll get to in a bit, where basically whenever we go and hit a new all-time high, for example at that specific day, the daily candle goes higher but then ends up closing below the previous all-time high. So let's see if that's going to happen, because for example, we had the same scenario here on the 19th of April. We hit the new all-time high and then drifted lower. At the end of the day, the same story then happened here, or actually, sorry, not here, but here on the 18th of May, we also overcame the previous all-time high, but then ended the day in the red. Well, let's see if the same story is going to happen here again, if we're going to have another similar situation. But I'm not saying that this is exactly what's going to happen, but well, history tends to repeat itself. But so let's see what's gonna how this is gonna shape up today. For now, I'm being very careful. Yes, we had a good run to the upside, but let's see if we can get that daily candle staying below the previous all-time high here, below that 15,538 zone. For now, we're just balancing, just bang on that level. Dow Jones Industrial Average. Now here you can see that yes, the index yesterday closed below this hurdle, below this 34,454 territory. If we take a look at the cash index right now, we'll see that the excuse me, we'll see that the price is now slightly above that area, above that hurdle. So basically, if it remains there for another, let's say 50 minutes, then yep, we'll have a nice opening gap here to the upside, where we'll be placed above this barrier, above this 34,454 mark. And if we continue to trade above that area, then yes, my next target will be the 34,741. I've mentioned this. In my yesterday's video, and of course, then yes, we could continue slowly targeting higher levels. But of course, let's see how this is going to play out. If by any chance it suddenly starts dropping back below the 34,454 territory right here, which is marked by the high of the 14th of May, and we see the daily candle remaining below it, then maybe we could be due for a bit of a corrective move here towards this upside line. But again, for now, we're kind of examining a little bit more the upside scenario rather than the downside one. Now, NASDAQ 100. So NASDAQ also something that I mentioned to you guys yesterday. So we had a nice good push here above this 13,574 territory. So in a way, we almost managed to reach that 13,700 level, the one that I was talking about, because I said that this is going to be my next target. But if that gets cleared, my next after that, the area that I'm going to be aiming for will be this 13,815 territory. If we take a look at the cash index right now, we'll see that the price is already above the 700 mark here. Not much, of course, but we are on the right track, and there is a good chance we could see maybe this one getting tested, the 13,815 level getting tested. So let's see if that happens. For the downside, well, basically, as I've mentioned previously, that in order to consider maybe the downside, a drop below the 13,237 territory would be needed. However, given that we moved a little bit more towards the upside here, we can first of all get rid of this. Actually, let's not get rid of it. Let's recycle it. And yep, let's recycle this line and draw it this way. Use it to draw an upside support line. Taken from the low the 5th of March. Now, for the downside, if it drops back below the 13,421 zone right here, this would mean that the price is already placed below the 21-day EMA, and yep, potentially more sellers could join in here. So let's keep an eye on that one, guys. DXY, the dollar index, so drifting excuse me, drifting nicely to the downside. This is what I talked about this morning and yesterday as well, that basically if we continue to trade below this downside line, then there's a good chance we could see this one drifting further south. However, this morning I said to you that I need to see that drop below the 89.68 territory right here, marked by the lowest point of February, in order to go for lower levels. And also I need to see that daily candle remaining below it, because what I don't want to see here is just a false breakout. So far we are still trading below this hurdle. Let's see if we can stay below it. If we can, then yes, my next target is this one right here, the 89.23 zone, so which is near the lowest point of January of this year. And this level marks, let me just scroll back here into history, that marks the lowest point of April of 2018, guys. So keep that in mind, and then of course we'll take it from there. For the upside, it's pretty straightforward. We need to see a break of this downside line at least, and then we could consider higher areas. WTI Oil, very quickly on this one. So this morning also I said to you that what I'm watching here is the this 66.40 zone, a break of which is required in order to get a little bit more excited with the upside. So well, we're still not seeing that. I mean, even we're not even getting a false breakout, because I mean, as you can see here, we did have false breakouts in the past. However, the daily candles, yep, they've stayed below this hurdle, below this area. So I need to see the daily candle remaining above this area, above this hurdle, in order to go for some higher levels. For now, I'm not really getting that, but don't get me wrong, we have the full US session to go through still. So let's see if something like that can happen during the US session. For the downside, I would need to see this one dropping back below the 63.80 territory. I spoke about this level previously. At the same time, the price would fall below the 21-day EMA, and potentially more sellers could join in here. So keep that in mind, guys. For now, of course, we are closer to this barrier, and we are considering a further push higher. However, for that, we need to see that daily candle remaining above the 66.40 zone. Silver. Silver also, just a quick update, basically. Yesterday I talked about silver, and I said that overall, yes, we're still trading above this upside line taken from the low of the 31st of March. So everything's kind of looking still quite positive here for silver. However, a push above the above this 27.88 territory is required still, because we keep getting these overshoots for the past kind of 3 days. We kept getting these overshoots. However, we're not really getting that daily candle to stay above this area. So, which means that yep, for now, that's the kind of game plan. We're waiting for this one. We're not rushing into anything, because don't want to get caught out on this one, for example, pushing higher, breaking above this 27.88 territory, but then still at the end of the day drifting back down and back below this hurdle. So that wouldn't work for the bulls. We need that one. We need this the price. We need that daily candle staying above this hurdle. For the downside, I need to see a drop somewhere below the 27.24 territory, approximately around here, maybe even below this hurdle, the low of the 21st of May. And if I'm not mistaken, that's also the lowest point of last week. Yep, that's correct. So the lowest point of last week near the 27.20 zone, a drop below that could potentially open the door towards lower levels, because at the same time we would have the price placed below not only below this upside line, but also below the 21-day EMA. And then, of course, we'll take it from there. Ripple is drifting back down. So good hold up here. I talked about this level this morning, if you remember, guys. This 1.0606 territory, and basically we got a fantastic hold up here. It seems that so far from the technical perspective, it seems that this crypto likes to test the kind of if there is an coinciding if there's a level which kind of shows, let's say, a previous day close in this situation, and then the next day's open at the same level. So I mean, then it seems that this level could be of an interest for the traders. That's why I have marked, for now, I have marked this one. So this 1.0606 is working out so far nicely. Also, we have this, if we do pop above this area, then my next target would be this 1.1823, which marks the close of the 20th of May and the open of the 21st of May here. And for the downside, I would prefer actually to see a drop below the 0.7910 territory. That's the close of the 23rd of May candle here and the open of the 24th of May candle. And if we do drop below this area, then well, we could also see a drop below the 200-day EMA, and yep, potentially more sellers could join in here. So keep that in mind. I'm now jumping into a few pairs, AUD and ZD. So I talked about this one recently, and basically the idea here was still the same. I was looking at this 1.0793 territory, this highlighted one. This is the level I needed in order to aim for some higher levels. But basically, I needed to see that daily candle to stay above this area. Well, I mean, we had some overshoots here, false breakouts, but we didn't really get that daily candle to remain above that hurdle. So and this is exactly what I keep saying, basically, when I'm saying that wait for that kind of daily candle to end, because in order not to get caught out in something as we had here. So you can see that yes, there was a tease. The bulls got teased here, and well, if some of them who kind of rushed into all this, then yep, got caught out here. So for now, we're drifting lower, and we are now approaching my level here for the breakout for the downside. So the same story, the same kind of idea is going to be applied here on this one as well. So in order to consider, let's say, a move lower, then yes, a drop below this hurdle is needed, and not only a drop but also a daily candle staying below this area, and then yes, of course, we could take it from there. And this area is, by the way, near the 1.0711 territory, so keep that in mind. USDCHF quick update. I talked about this one yesterday, and basically we had that drop. So this is what I was saying to you guys, that we got that drop below the 0.8954 territory right here. But as you can see, the daily candle is struggling to stay below it. So, which means that for now, although the trend is still to the downside, for now, we will take a bit of a careful approach here. And yep, we'll wait. And we want to see what's going to happen near this 0.8918 territory, which is this one right here. Sorry, 0.8954 territory, which is this one. If we finally see the daily candle remaining below it, then yes, we could continue aiming lower. However, if it stays today above this hurdle, then well, it will be very interesting to see what's going to happen tomorrow, because if somehow the pair gets pushed through this downside line, then maybe this is where it could become a little bit more interesting for more buyers. GBPJPY, very quickly on this one. So yeah, so far this upside support line taken from the low the 23rd of April continues to provide support. So again, also this hurdle here, the 153.42 zone, is also doing its job and providing good support. So what I need here is basically I need to see a push above this barrier, the current highest point of May near the 154.84 zone, in order to get comfortable with higher levels, because at the same time here on a break of this level we would get a forthcoming higher high, and well, of course, we could start aiming for our next potential little target here. Let me just scroll back way into history here, guys. As you can see, these are the levels that I'm going to be talking about. So basically this one right here, the highest point of January of 2018 near the 156.10 zone, and that's my next target. And then of course slightly above that we do have the highest point of February of 2018 and also the highest point of 2018, and that's roughly let me just zoom in here a little bit, and that's roughly around the 156.61 zone. So yep, those are the levels, but again, in order to consider a push towards those, we need to see a break of the current highest point of May, just to be a little bit more on the safe side. For the downside, pretty straightforward, a drop below this upside line and a drop somewhere below this 153.42 territory here. Sorry, 150. Let me just. There we go. 153.42 territory, somewhere around here. Yep, could do the trick for more sellers. Euro against the Turkish lira. This is the one that I was talking about. So, and I mentioned this one this morning as well, if you remember. So basically, again, we're hitting a new all-time high. So, kind of good news for the buyers, of course. But as I said before, when I was covering the German index DAX, let's see if this daily candle is able to stay above this hurdle, above this 10.35 level, so approximately around here. If we do stay above it, then yes, of course, we will go for some higher areas. I mean, the sky's the limit for this one then, but if by any chance the daily candle reverses sharply to the downside here, now this is where it could become very interesting for more sellers, guys, especially if this upside line gets broken. But at the moment, guys, we cannot really talk about that. Don't get me wrong. At the moment, the trend is still to the upside. So going against this, of course, that would be you know, a bit of a problematic. Never kind of you know, go against the trend. But if we do see a reversal, then yep, we could potentially utilize that. You know, we can use that. But again, at the moment, we are not seeing that reversal yet. And finally, EURUSD. So we're pushing above this 1.2243 territory. So in a way, great news for more buyers, especially if the daily candle stays above this area. If it stays above it, which is the highest point of February here, yep, then yes, of course, we could aim for that 1.2350 territory, marked by the highest point of January, and also this is the current highest point of this year, and then of course we'll take it from there. For now, everything's looking quite positive, so let's see if the pair can continue pushing further north, but most importantly, can it stay above this area right here, this 1.2243 territory. For the downside, I need to see a drop below the 1.2123 territory in order to consider a bit of a decline. So guys, that's it for this session. I really hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Thank you very much for joining in. I really appreciate your views, your likes, your comments in general, guys. So yep, thank you very much. If you want to catch me tomorrow, as always, my Traders Espresso, that's 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, have a wonderful evening, stay safe, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.